Welcome back to the Grown Up Millennial. So this week, my boyfriend's college classes started up again. And since my last video was advice for college freshmen, I decided to do a video on advice for college seniors. Now this advice will work for pretty much any year you are in college, but it is particularly important for those who are about to graduate in the next year or so. Graduating college can be a really scary, difficult, wonderful transition in your life. Some people handle it really well, some people do not handle it really well, and some people handle it well at some points and not so well at other points. I would fall into the latter category. As I was getting closer and closer to graduation, I was like, okay, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling prepared, I had a plan in place. I got out of my last exam of undergrad, finished it early, headed to the restroom, looked in the mirror, and fell apart. Not crying, sobbing, but it felt like I was floating and that there was nothing holding me to the world, that like the whole earth had fell away from under my feet. And out of like panic and anxiety, I cleaned that public restroom. Like I picked up all the papers off the floor and I wiped down the counters, and I was like so worked. I was so like tense and worked up. So graduation is a really weird time for everybody. But there are a few things you can do to better prepare yourself as you transition from your education into the real world. Number one, start a savings account. This might seem counterintuitive, particularly if you've taken out loans for your college education, but you should have some savings put aside. If you work, try to take some money out of your paycheck. If you get money for birthdays and Christmas, try to put some of that away. It doesn't have to be a ton, even just a couple $100s would be great. Having at least some money in savings, some liquid money, will give you options. If you move to a brand new city, you will need some money for a deposit on an apartment. If you want to travel, you're going to need some travel money. Even if you stay in the same city, stay in the same apartment, stay in the same job, but maybe you need to upgrade your wardrobe, get a couple blazers or a pantsuit or something like that. You would need some money put aside. So having some money put aside that is not debt is incredibly important and will give you options. Number two, this may sound obvious, but building up your resume. Some people, like myself, worked all throughout college. Other people were supported by their parents or were of the mindset that they wanted to just focus solely on their grade. But unfortunately, a college degree is not necessarily enough. There are going to be thousands of other students graduating with you just at your school, and that's happening at schools all over the country. So just having a degree, it's great, but it's not enough. So you need to build out your resume with some skill set related to what you would like to do. Now, the most obvious thing to do is to get a part-time job or a full-time job while you're in school. But that doesn't always work for everybody. But there are other ways to build out your resume. I talk about this more in my resume tips video. I'll leave a link in the description, but there are other ways. For example, you can do an internship, you can volunteer in something related to the work you want to do, or even you could do an independent project. So this is a really great option if you're a computer science major or an art major, for example. A computer science major, you can program, work on a project on your own, practice your Python or C+ or Java or whatever language it is that you happen to be using. Practice those skills and make a project and make it part of your portfolio. Really similar for art, but using art supplies and not computers. Or computers if you're a graphic designer. Who knows? I don't control your life. But the idea is you can build up the skills related to the work you want to do after you graduate, and you can do that now. It doesn't have to be a job. It can be an independent project. It can be a volunteering, it can be an internship, but you need to start building up your skills and finding a way to demonstrate that on a resume. Related to that, number three, start applying for jobs now. Start applying for jobs as soon as you start senior year even. It might seem crazy, right? Who is going to hire me if I am not even going to be available for the next 9, 6, 3, or even just in a month? But you'd be astounded how many places that are looking for college graduates start looking really early. As I understand, some of the big tech firms, for example, like Google, starts recruiting in January for college graduates. But even if you don't get a job right away, you'll start to get used to the application process. You might get some interviews, you might get some phone interviews and start practicing that way, or even you'll just have a better idea of what jobs are available, what the pay might be like, what areas that jobs are available in. And this is really important to start getting that information. And you'd be astounded how many people actually graduate into a job just because they started looking early enough. Number 4, take advantage of your school's resources. You won't realize this until after you graduate, but your school offers you so many invaluable resources. For example, the career advisor. You should absolutely go to the career advisor, especially as a senior. They can look over your resume, they can help you with a job search, they can do mock interviews. That is an invaluable resource. And on top of that, once you graduate, the cost of going to a career advisor is $100 to $150 an hour. So you should absolutely be taking advantage of it while your tuition has already paid for it. In the same vein, visit the financial aid office and talk to them about loan repayment plans, loan consolidation. If they have a personal finance course, sign up for that. Check it out. See what is available to you. And number 3, the most important of college resources, networking. There are so many networking events at your school, whether it's through different clubs or societies or Greek life, but also through career fairs, talking to your professors, talking to people who come visit your school. Dozens of opportunities, and it's so concentrated. It's so much harder to network once you graduate. You should really take advantage in your last year of all networking opportunities that you can. You should also check out my networking video, link in the description below, that will give you more tips on how to properly network. Number 5, this might seem obvious, but make a graduation plan. And this is not just have something vaguely in mind that you want to do. I'm talking about sit down, figure out a few key pieces of information. If I have student loans, how much do I owe and when are they due? How much money do I have? How much money do I need? Do I plan to live in the city where my college is? Do I plan to move back home? Do I plan to live in a different city that has the jobs that I'm interested in? How am I going to pay to move to another city? If I stay here, am I going to stay in the same apartment? Am I going to have the same roommates? Do I need to find a different place to live? How much is that going to cost? What kind of jobs am I interested in? How much do they pay? Where are those jobs located? Do I want to get a job right after college, or do I want to travel, or do I want to spend a bit of time learning a new skill? As you can see, there's a lot of questions you need to be asking yourself. And some of your plans might be really conditional. For example, maybe you want to stay in the city that your college currently is, but if you don't find a job by the time you graduate, you might have to move back home for a while. If that's the case, then talk to your parents. Let them know what the plan is. How can they support you? What do you do? What can you be doing to make the first more likely than the second? So the idea is not only make a plan, but look into contingency plans and talk to the people that those plans are affected by. Don't decide to move back home and never mention it to your parents. Or just say, hey, I'm moving back home and I have no idea what I want to do after that. If you're interested in grad school at some point, when do you want to go back to grad school? What kind of job would you want to work in the meantime? These plans will probably change. I'd be astounded if they didn't. But the idea is to start planning and thinking about these things. Some of these things won't change, like your student debt will probably not change, and you should know what the case is. Where you work will vary greatly, but if you have a backup plan, you should be planning out that backup plan as well. But the idea is sit down and really think and write out and talk about the specifics of your plans. And finally, number 6, accept the roller coaster. Here's the thing. If you're anything like me, you spent the last 20 years of your life thinking about college, whether it was people joking about it when you were 4 years old, or in 8th grade they first started asking you, what colleges are you interested in? Or in 9th grade when they start talking to you about SATs, or in 11th grade when you start actually applying for colleges, or when you actually start college and trying to survive the craziness. College has probably been on your mind for a really long time. And so it's a scary, wonderful, exhilarating, terrifying transition when you go from college to no college. And it's gonna be emotional. You're gonna have highs and you're gonna have lows. Some things are gonna be really uncertain. Some things are gonna be really exciting. You're gonna see friends get jobs before you. You're gonna get jobs before your friends. Some friends are gonna choose to go travel. It's gonna have a lot of highs. It's gonna have a lot of lows. And you're not weird for that happening. Take a deep breath. It's gonna work out. And just try your best. Thank you so much for watching. If you have graduated college, in the comments below, let us know, what do you wish you had known in your senior year of college? If you are entering your senior year of college, let us know, what are you most looking forward to and what are you most nervous about? In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, whatever it is you do with YouTube videos, and check back with us for our next video.